start the recording. My apologies, my second time chairing, but I'm going to do a call to order, and then I'm going to also do territorial acknowledgement. So respectfully acknowledge that the SFSS is located on the traditional unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Katzie nations. Unceded means that these territories have never been handed over, sold, or given up by these nations, and we are currently situated on occupied territories. So we're going to go to a roll call of attendance and just the name, pronouns, and any accessibility concerns. So we're going to start with me, the acting VP internal. Hi, I'm Peter. My pronouns are he, him, and my accessibility needs are met. Next, we have the Psychology Student Union, Mark.
Hi, my name's Mark. He, him, all my access needs have been met. Next is you, Hillary.
Hi, my name is Hillary. My pronouns are she, her. All my access needs are met. However, I am using Mark's laptop to talk because my laptop, as always, is being terrible.
Also, we're like two people in the same room, so there'd be echoing.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Did otherwise.
No worries. Okay, and then we do not have any society staff. Sadly, they could not make it. So now let's move on to the consent agenda. Be it resolved to adopt the consent agenda by unanimous consent. I'll move. Can I get a seconder?
Sass.
Okay, thank you. So I'm guessing the first thing is the matters arising from the minutes. Yeah, so be it resolved to receive and file the following minutes for the governance 22nd December 16th meeting. Is there any discussion on this? Okay, so I'm just going to move to a vote, right, for unanimous consent, right? If you do not consent, please use the raise hand function in Zoom for your vote. Otherwise I don't see anything, so just passing unanimous consent. And we're going to move to the adoption of the agenda. I'll move. Can I get a seconder?
Psychology.
Thank you. And be it resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. We've got one new business item and one discussion item. Any discussion on these matters? Okay, so there's no discussion, so I'm going to move it to a vote. I'm going to seek unanimous consent. If you like voting against, please use the raise hand function. I see no hands raised, so it passes with unanimous consent. So we're going to move on to new business 11.1, further clarity to the spring 2023 referenda questions. This was submitted by me, the VP internal, on the advice of BD. So I'm going to quickly put the motion in chat. Okay. So whereas the three referenda motions brought, I need a mover and a seconder. So I'll move. Can I get a seconder?
Sass.
Thank you. So whereas the three referenda motions brought by the governance committee has complicated language and make it difficult to read, whereas the motions require restructuring, rewording, and the inclusion of background information to increase the clarity of the referendum questions to the SFSS membership who are voting members of the society, be it resolved to adopt the revised referendum questions alongside the background information as seen in the provided document, draft the referendum for the ballot, be it resolved that the Vice President, Internal and Organization Development and the SFSS Policy Research Coordinator have the ability to make further grammar, background information, and reformatting changes to the revised spring 2023 referendum question until the January 25th, 2023 SFSS Council meeting. Okay, so I'll quickly just list and just talk about it. It's just there was a concern by BD, our SFSS Policy Research Coordinator, that some of the language might be a little bit kind of everywhere and complicated, and as evident at the last council meeting on January 11th, when it was read out by the chair, it was a lot and kind of difficult to go over. So the best thing to do is similar clauses, just to kind of either put them together and kind of maybe structure, try to squish them together, make it easier to read, and also to provide little definitions, obviously, on stuff such as what is a referendum to some people, or what does it mean to be a good member, standing member of the society? Just this information that would be really beneficial for people who vote to know, just so it doesn't seem, because the most important part is clarity. And if they don't have understanding, we try to make it, if it looks a little complicated, it might be a little bit difficult to trust, but if we can get it as clear as possible, then individuals can just make it fair to them. And then obviously that even though it's only that I and the research coordinator have the ability to make these further changes, we're not changing the policies themselves. We're not adding or removing any policy changes. We're just working on the grammar, adding background definitions, just reformatting a document, and that everybody else in the governance committee will have access to the document at all times to see all changes. It's just so we don't have to go through another governance meeting, so we can meet the spring 2023 deadline. Does anybody else have anything else they'd like to discuss?
I don't think so. It sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just move it to a vote then. I'm going to seek unanimous consent. If you don't want to consent, please use the raise hand function if you'd like to vote otherwise. Seeing no raised hands, I'm going to say that it passed unanimously. So now we're going to move on to the discussion items. And this was something that I did bring up before. It was about something that the JHSC, the Joint Health and Safety Commission, raised about issues policy IP 9.2. This was submitted by me, the acting VP internal. I'll move. Could I get a seconder?
Psychology.
Psychology seconds. Thank you. So basically, I'm going to post the policy line in chat. So in IP policy 9, my apologies, it's having difficulty finding it. So if there are issues policy, there's IP policy 9 2C has a line that says, I'll quickly put it in chat, calling the RCMP during situations where immediate harm is not present. The Joint Health and Safety Commission has deemed this line kind of a little problematic and not proper, and are kind of seeking ways that we can change it. So right now it's a discussion item so that we can kind of come to a good, probably a better wording of this, or just where it might meet their concerns. We're just going to have a discussion. We'll send it to them, see if they like it, and then we'll probably come back to governance and we can pass it as a change to the policies. I'll quickly, after that list, and I just have, here was, I think we've discussed it before, but here is one of the kind of changes that I have, but obviously if you have a different rewording of it, basically it's just immediate harm there's obviously, even though harm is not immediate, it does not mean that it's not a safety concern, right? So one of the solutions I propose is calling the RCMP during situations where safety is not a concern is something the FSSS opposes.
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, it's supposed to get the full context. Let me get the upper part as well. So
Yeah, that would be a bit clearer.
yeah, my apologies. I got a little bit.
That's okay.
So basically, that's how it reads.
Okay.
Totality.
Okay.
Yeah.
It seems to be good. This is in issues policies, right?
Yes, issues policy
9.
9 issues policy 9 2C, if I'm not mistaken.
2C, okay. Yeah.
So they would just like
give guidelines on what immediate harm means.
Wait.
Yeah, immediate harm. The reason, that's why they don't want to use immediate harm, because immediate harm is like, even if harm isn't immediate, there's still people can still feel unsafe, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a very good description.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I proposed using where safety is not a concern, because
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But if you have any other changes, of course, I'm more than happy to hear.
I think where safety is not a concern is still okay. Hold up.
I mean,
So
I think it's sort of like, perhaps it's to the individual if they feel unsafe, and I think it's reasonable for.
my concern
To
is that
accommodate that.
people might kind of somehow abuse this. Like you've probably seen, barbecue Becky, all those memes about like people being, oh my goodness, he's taking a walk in the park, I feel threatened, right? So like, I mean, they can claim that they feel unsafe, but really it's, not actually them feeling unsafe, it's just them being
Well,
racist, right? So like, how can we kind of make sure that this doesn't, happen, I guess, if that makes sense? Did that make any sense at all? Because I'm not sure.
It's understandable, yeah. Of
Okay,
course,
okay.
abuse is to make it.
I mean, I think it's a good wording, or at least better wording. How
Yeah,
it
I
is.
definitely think it's better, but I'm just
Because
thinking.
I'm, how would I say? I think it's better that, I don't know, that people, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's good, and I think that like
I don't know. I just don't want people to kind of take advantage of the safety thing. That's all.
Well, because like the point of the issue policy is like the FSSS opposes this. So obviously, if it's like I'm pretty sure even like in situations where like the immediate harm thing, it's always obviously is like it's not just but like there's more of the investigation into it and stuff like that. It doesn't just like end at that, right? Where it's like, oh, I felt unsafe. So,
Okay.
mhm. So it's I can understand your concern as well, but is there a possible other rewording then, or like other language do you have like a slight idea maybe to like for you because like this isn't like we don't have to send one thing to them since it's more of a discussion. We can send them a couple that we've come up with, obviously. And then yeah, and then hopefully we'll have it's like kind of a little bit of an open dialogue, and then once it's all completed, we can come to governance, or they'll return the governance with it.
Okay. Well, I can't think of anything right now.
but I think it's about time we do like actually, how do you say, change this, because I know it's been yeah, you know, with respect to our union members and so on, it can be considered a problem if we don't word it with the current wording. So I think yeah, at least for me, I'm in favor of just sending them this as a suggestion, and then yeah.
Yeah. And of course,
Okay.
let them know that like we'd be open to like, other suggestions as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, that works as well. And obviously, if you ever have like this thing, since this is more of a discussion item, of course, we can always like, if you guys do have like an idea or something, you can always just like send it to me, or we can always just like send it to them as well as like a further update, right? This is not like a full on like we're setting them like one option. We can always be like, oh, we had another idea as well, just because it's more of the discussion, open dialogue phase right now. So if there's ever like a thing in the future where if we don't know right now, but we might have maybe a opinion or solution a little bit later, it's something we can always do in a like within a time frame. But I can try to like just recommend this to them at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Hi,
Okay.
Abby.
Oh, yeah, hi, Abby.
Hello, sorry, I don't know. This thing is being really weird. It's giving me a Portugal flag I used as my background like a year and a half ago. Hold on, I'm just gonna shut my door and turn on my camera.
No worries. We're just at the discussion phase for the JHSC. Are you able to see it in chat right now?
No.
Okay, I'll repost it. But basically, it's the this is in issues. Oh, sorry, it doesn't post together. Basically, in basically it's issues policy 9.2c, where it says the FSSS opposes calling the RCMP during situations where immediate harm is not present, and just one thing where we kind of like spitballed it together the one time when we were all in the exec office together was like, oh, sorry, is calling the RCMP during situations where safety is not a concern was one of the possible solutions to this. But this is not like the thing is this is not a very like full official, like we're only sending them one thing like finalized. It's more of a discussion. They asked like, can we like maybe discuss it and talk about it? So obviously we can send a couple to them, and it doesn't have to be immediately after this meeting. Like we can send like a solution or option now and be like, oh, we had it on the back burner, but here's another solution we have, and like kind of to just go there. And then obviously after that's all done, they can come back to us with the full motion, the full policy they wish to change.
Okay. If I may.
Okay, yeah, Abby, let's go on.
Yeah, I think that solution that we've spitballed is probably like, obviously we still have more time to think and all that, but I think that's a good solution because we don't want staff not calling the police when they're needed, and then like someone like absolute worst case scenario, like someone that dies, right? Because we didn't call the police. But we also don't want people just calling the police because like someone looks a little weird or whatever, right? So I think the line we have spitballed is a good balance between the two.
Yeah, that was a point brought up by Hillary as well. It's like obviously there are people who will call the police on like non-matters or personal things and it might have biases or prejudices. So the difficulty is obviously trying to find a good middle ground kind of way, because we do want to also like safeties, but I'm pretty sure even this is like what the SFS opposes, like obviously if something big happens, it's not like there's always looking into it and kind of it doesn't just end at the call. If there is like a matter like this, even with the previous one, immediate harm, there's always looking into when your CMP is called or if there's a thing, right? It's not just full on like that. So if anybody else has anything to say, if anyone else wants to list as well, or okay, yeah, Mark.
Yeah, I just have a question about how it, because this is issues policies, does this have any like procedural difference from, how do you say, any other bylaws and like, and then being changed, or how does that work? Oh, could you
Oh yeah,
guys hear me,
sorry.
or- Yeah, no, okay, just making sure.
Yeah,
Cause
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure with the issues policy, that's why they brought it to me and to governance is to raise concern, is because they just wanted to discuss this and also bring it here so that we could obviously they could kind of just bring it to them, bring solutions. They can just bring it back to governance with kind of like a request afterwards to change it up,
Okay.
obviously. So yeah.
yeah, and then do we voted on it during at council, or does it have to be an AGM or something? Or can we just pass it at council? If you know that, of course.
Abby, would it still be, since the issues policy, would it be the same as the bylaws, or would it be an AGM referendum vote? Yeah, Abby, direct response.
I don't remember for sure, but I believe we passed the issues policies last year at council, and I think it takes a higher threshold. Like I think it's like a 2/3 or something.
Oh.
Don't quote me on this because I'm not sure if I'm right. That would be my best guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, regardless, this is more of the discussion thing, but obviously, like when we send it back and come back, of course, like I'll look into this and get this more fully done. Obviously, following up on the procedure of it, I'll make sure to do it. It's just more, they just wanted to bring this up just as like kind of a brainstorming session to like find a more thing. But like once they come back to it and everything, of course, we'll follow it all and I'll get it all done, or like we'll follow the procedure and everything.
Yeah.
Anybody have any other questions or any other discussion points?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to then, we're done with the discussion items. I'm going to move to adjournment. I am going to move, could I get a seconder?
Psychology.
Psychology seconds, okay. So be it resolved to adjourn the meeting at 5:29 p.m. That was a good, quick governance meeting. Thank you very much. I need a vote, right? I need to seek unanimous consent. Yes, okay. So I'm going to adjourn the meeting. I'm going to I think it's not going to be contentious. Oh, Abby's raising his hand.
I'm voting against because you didn't want to take a vote there. You were trying to avoid responsibility, so I'm gonna.
Okay. But I'm going to be seeking as consent unless you'd like to raise hand and vote against. Abby's voted against. I'm guessing the rest of us have voted to adjourn the meeting. So yeah, we'll adjourn the meeting at 5:30. Thank you everybody for showing. I hope you guys get to your movie on time. And
Oh yeah.
thank you so much. Okay, thank you
Okay.
everybody.
Hey.
Bye.
night.
Bye, everyone.